Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about preparing for a 5K or basically whatever you want it to be. And this will cover running and walking in a 5K because I've done both. A little bit of background first. Every year the city I live in does a big 5K for the Derby. I live in Kentucky, if you don't know that, so yeah, Kentucky Derby. So on Derby Day every year, they have a big 5K. This will be, my third year running in this. So this will be my third year doing this one. I've done a separate one that was a color run as well, and then I've done 3 mud runs, and this year will be my 4th. So I'm going to kind of leave the mud run thing separate because while it is sort of a 5K, it's not, because you have obstacles. In this 5K you don't. This 5K is just a flat out 5K. So the first time I ever did a 5K, I finished in 36 minutes, and I didn't really train at all. The second 5K, I trained a little bit for like a month prior, and I finished in 34. Last year, it rained the entire 5K. We all got drenched, and I ended up finishing in 34 minutes again. This year, the goal is to finish in under, at least with 30 minutes. That's my time goal this year. And I've been training for about a month now. What I'm going to do in this video is basically go over some tips for beginners, my schedule, as well as what I eat during my training process, getting ready for this, and I wasn't going to include what I wear, but I think I am, because that is actually really important to training and both running on the actual day of the 5K. That way you're kind of used to everything. I'm just going to move on to tips for beginners, and the first one is find a schedule and stick to it. And find a schedule that actually works for you, because my schedule may not actually work for everyone. If you're not used to working out or running or walking or anything, my schedule's definitely not going to work for you. But I know that Mayo Clinic has a really good schedule. Shape Magazine does, and there are probably a few others out there on the internet as well. All you have to do is type in preparing for a 5K or training for a 5K, and chances are it'll pop up. The next tip is rest, and get more rest. I think that's what hurt me the first time that I actually started training for a 5K. I trained, but I didn't rest. And by the time we actually did the 5K, my body was done. So the next tip is decrease mileage and exercise during the week of the race. For me, I do Zumba 5 days a week, no matter what. And during the week of the race, the only thing I do is Zumba. I don't do anything else. So if you are actually running a full 5K on a daily basis, the week of the race, you need to knock that down to like half of that, if Probably even less than that. And like I said, I'm going to go over my schedule a little bit later in this video. Okay, now moving on to tips for the actual race day. The first one is eat light at least 2 hours before. I'm one of those people who I don't like to eat in the morning, but I can tell you from experience, you need something to fuel your body before the race. And I know everybody says oatmeal. I can't do oatmeal the morning of the race. I'm pretty much, I'll either do a protein bar or a Lara bar or a Velveeta or a piece of toast with maybe some peanut butter on it. But I do that at least 2 hours before we do anything. That way it's had time to settle in my stomach. And I do drink water that morning, but I don't overdo it. Like, I'll maybe do a glass of water. When usually I do a bottle of water and then let it set for a little bit and then do my routine. Okay, the next thing is stretch and warm up. I don't know. The day of the race, we get there maybe an hour to an hour and a half earlier than that race actually starts. We go get our packets and we'll walk around and talk and all that before. And while you're doing this, you'll see the people in line waiting to get their packets, stretching and jumping up and down and trying to warm up. For me, my favorite way to do that is just, my favorite warm-up is just walking around that day. I'll stretch a little bit at home before I leave. My mom's doing it with me this year like she did last year, so I'll warm up a little bit before we leave. I'll walk around as much as I possibly can. Most mornings I'm one of those people, I get up, I take it slow, I sit on my ass. Because that's just my morning. But when I'm prepping for a 5K, I like to get up and get moving and keep going. That way, and I will do a little bit of stretching in the line waiting for the race to start. That way I am stretched out a little bit. Especially my hips, because if you watch this channel, you know I have problems with my hips. Okay, the next one is pace yourself. The first year I ran a 5K, I took off and, no, actually, the first time I did a 5K, I stayed with the women I was with. It was me and 2 other women from Zumba, and we did it, and we stayed together the entire time. But they were in a lot better shape than I was because they'd been training and I hadn't been. I'd had like a month. And I didn't train before the Pella Run. So they'd been walking and preparing for it and I hadn't been. So, yeah. So, start slow is the best bet. And then kind of level up. And then plateau for a little bit. And then at the end of the race, finish strong. That's my best thing. Okay, and the next tip is keep a routine for running and food. Your training needs to be the same from the time you start training till race day. That way your body knows what you're fueling it on and knows what you're doing. You don't want to change your routine throughout or it's just going to ruin the training. And for me, I try to work out in the shoes I'm running in or the similar shoes to what I'm going to run in and similar outfits to what I'm running in on Derby Day. Because the day of the 5K, we all match. This year, we're doing rainbow pants. You need to follow me on Instagram if you want to see these pictures of this race, okay? So I'll have my Instagram somewhere, and it'll be down below as well. So go follow me on Instagram. You don't have to do the same clothes and shoes like I do, but I'm crazy. So I do kind of like to get, at least I know if I'm wearing something similar, I know what my body's capable of in that outfit. That way I don't get there on Derby Day and I'm like, well, hell, my body doesn't move as much as I thought it was going to. Okay, and the last tip, know that you can do this. Believing in yourself, cheering yourself on in your head, anything that you need to be able to say, yes, I can do this. I know a lot of people use music. I don't. When I'm practicing, I don't usually use music either, because I don't like to have to worry about the headphones falling out. So, but if you want to listen to music at that Pepsi, go right ahead. But anything that reminds you that you can do this, do that. You need that. That's why I kind of like running with the ladies from Zumba, because we all stick together for the most part. Last year we all kind of decided, you know what, we'll split up. It makes it easier. And while we all finished at different times, we were all there when we crossed the finish line, cheering on each other. I'm going to stop this part of the video here. And the next thing is I'm going to show you, next thing you'll see is my schedule and what I eat, some of what I wear, and yeah, that'll be it.
Okay, so first things first, I'm sorry it's raining if you can hear that. And this is my schedule. Week 1 is pretty much similar to everything else. I start with 1 mile. If you're not planning on running, do not run. And if you've never run before, do not run. I can run, so I usually do half a run and half a walk in that. And then that continues up until week 1, I'm pretty sure, of the 2nd month. And I always walk on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And of course, this can change. And if you want me to do a 1 month schedule in another video or just post it on my Patreon, I'll be happy to do that. And like I said, race week is just Zumba. So now moving on to what I eat. I stick to high protein breakfast, protein snacks, and I always have some sort of protein for lunch and dinner those weeks. And for what I wear, pretty consistent to what I wear to Zumba. Leggings, Mizunos or Asics, and a tank top or a t-shirt.
So that's it for this video. Now you kind of have an idea of how to train for a 5K, as well as my schedule and what I do. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more fitness videos like this, totally let me know. And other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.